Hello everyone, I'm Bruffy1322 and welcome to the usual video that I do for these DLCs where I'm going to be showcasing all of the drip feed vehicles for the contract DLC. As usual, Rockstar add a number of vehicles to the game and then hold some back to be released once per week over the next, couple of months. And we're going to go through them. They're shown in the order that they're going to be released for each website. It's as always, so we've got the Legendary Motorsport vehicles first. Don't worry about the bikes, I'll talk about those when we get to them. We got the Legendary Motorsport vehicles first, there'll be 5 vehicles there. And then there's 3 vehicles on Southern San Andreas Super Autos. So we know that the Patriot will be released before we get the I-Wagen, for example. We know that we'll get the Comet S2 Cabrio before we get one of the bikes. But they might switch up the order that they release them between the 2 websites. So we might get the Patriot, then we might get the Zeno, then we might get the Comet and then a bike, and then it'll flip back over to the I-Wagen. They can do it like that, but this is the order that they'll release them, usually anyway. That's what they try to do. So we'll start with the Legendary Motorsport vehicles. And we've got, first up is the Zeno. This is the only supercar that we've got that's going to be released outside of the ones that we've already been, I'm not showcasing all the cars that we've actually got on day one. That'll be for the testing videos and things like that. But the Zeno is $2.8 million. It's a supercar, and it's the only supercar that we're going to be getting from the drip feed. So we'll be getting it fairly early on, and I guess we'll be able to at least know if any of the supercars are going to be able to beat the Emirates or the Krieger. Not a bad looking one, pretty streamlined. We'll have to see how it does. Obviously, I will be testing all of these vehicles every day that they come out. They're usually released every Thursday. A new vehicle is added. I'll be testing it, taking it around the track, sorting it out for lap time, and just stay tuned to the channel for all of that. Make sure you subscribe, all that kind of stuff. So the Zeno is the first car from Legendary Motorsport. Then we've got the Comet S2 Cabrio. As you can see, it's basically a Comet S2, but a Cabrio version. In fact, I'll show the Cabrio for it. Oops. It's going to cost $1.8 million, so about the same as the other tuners. We don't know yet whether it's going to be in the tuners class to race with. It is definitely in sports, but whether it'll be in tuners or not, it's impossible to say. We don't know whether Rockstar are going to ever add anything else to the tuners class. It's just not something we know. So we'll wait and find out with that whether that'll be available to use for tuners, tuner class races. But obviously it is the Comet S2 but Cabrio version. Now there's 2 bikes that are going to come up next. These 2 bikes are just old bikes. They're just placeholders because we couldn't get the new bikes on here. I'm going to put in images of the new bikes. One of them you can actually see as part of the missions. It's I think her name is Imani. It's one of her vehicles, but that'll be the second bike that we get. The first bike that we get is going to be called the Shinobi. Now that's going to be basically the most expensive bike in the game. It's going to be $500,000 more than the Shitaro, $2.5 million for the Shinobi. We'll have to see what its performance is going to be like and whether it'll be worth that. Obviously, I'm going to test that when it comes out. But yeah, obviously both the motorcycles are in the motorcycles class and should be raceable in motorcycle races. Next after that is going to be the Reever. So that's the bike that you can see in the agency. And I think you can sort of have a little test drive of it by requesting it from Imani as well. So yeah, the Shinobi first, then the Reever, and then after we've seen those 2 bikes, we've got the Baller ST. Now the Baller ST is $900,000. It's about $670k if you unlock the trade price for it. It's obviously in the SUVs class, and it's basically a Baller LE LWB. Essentially, it is exactly the same model pretty much as the LWB long wheelbase version of the LE Baller. Obviously there's a little bit of a difference with the hood, and maybe its performance will be slightly different, but it's essentially a reskinned LWB Baller. It's the same model pretty much. So yeah, those are the 5 vehicles for Legendary Motorsport. Like I said, left to right, so we get the Zeno first. We'll be getting the Baller ST last for the Legendary Motorsport website at least. Now, coming on to the Southern San Andreas vehicles, First up on Southern San Andreas that's released is going to be the Patriot Mil-Spec. I don't know where the Squaddy fits in with all of this, because it feels like that's what the Squaddy was, but hey ho. The Patriot Mil-Spec is going to set you back $1.7 million. It'll be $1.3 million for the trade price. I would be surprised if it didn't have a decent amount of customization on it, but it's actually in the off-roads class for whatever reason. It's not in SUVs. Obviously, it is a more military spec vehicle, but yeah, I assume it'll be usable in off-road races, but who knows? You know, could be blocked off. We don't know yet. But obviously, it'll be one of the first cars that we get, so we'll know pretty soon. Next up is the I-Wagen. Now this is going to set you back $1.7 million. It's in the SUVs class and it is an electric vehicle. So it'll be interesting to see how that does in terms of performance, whether it has a pretty bad top speed. It might be, you know, the opposite of a Toros where it's got great acceleration and bad top speed, and it might be on the pace of the top SUVs given the track. But yeah, we'll see what it's like, but it is, I'm pretty sure that's the first electric SUV that we've ever gotten in the game, and the first electric car for a while maybe. Next up after that is going to be the Granger 3600LX. This is going to be the last car that's released on Southern San Andreas Super Autos. It might be the last car that's released overall, or it might be, you know, the baller over there. Again, this is also in the SUVs class. It's going to cost you $1.3 million or $1 million for the trade price. And it's basically just like the regular Granger, but a little bit updated. So it's a more modern version of the old regular Granger. And just like the old Granger, you can sit 4 people on the inside, and 4 people can also stand on the outside and grab onto the bars at the top. So yeah, it's basically an updated version of the Granger. Just like a lot of these cars are updated versions of other cars, like the Baller, for example. So yeah, those are the 3 vehicles that are going to be on Southern San Andreas Super Autos. Those are the 5 vehicles that are going to be on Legendary Motorsport. And then we've got 2 extra vehicles as well that it's very possible we might not be able to do anything with these. So we don't know yet, but it seems like they're not appearing on any of the websites and they don't have that much customization. These might just be mission vehicles. So the Mule is probably the first one that will just, you know, there must be something different about this Mule. It's a new vehicle they've added to the game, but it's got exactly the same handling files and handling stats as all the other Mules that we've got. So there must just be something different about this that is like used for a single animation in one of the new missions where they had to just add a new Mule for it. It's exactly the same performance wise and all that kind of stuff, so doubt we're going to be able to buy any of that. Now this one is the really weird one, and this could become the new Lost Slam Van, the vehicle that, you know, people want to own but can't. This is the Yuga Custom, and as you can see, LD Organics. It's, you know, themed on Lamar's business, and it's basically like a cross between a Yuga and a Tornado. It's really strange, but maybe it is going to be a Benny's vehicle. You know, with it being a Yuga Custom, the Benny's vehicles are generally called something custom, and you might be able to upgrade the regular Yuga into the Yuga Custom and be able to own this. But there also aren't that many customization or upgradable options on it. So it's very possible that this is just used in, you know, one of the new agency missions, and it's not something that you're going to actually be able to own because they're not appearing on any of the websites or anything like that. So yeah, the Yuga Custom, it might be a vehicle that you can't even have, but it is. These are the 2 that are newly added to the game that we don't quite understand yet, but these are the vehicles that you're definitely going to be able to buy as part of the drip feed. And obviously, I don't know what the deal is with these 2. And to appease all of you who always complain that I don't show the backs of these vehicles, here you go, the rear of all of these cars. One by one, we'll go through them all. And as I said, make sure you're subscribed and all that good stuff. Make sure you've got notifications on. I will be coming out with the testing videos for the cars that we've got initially in the game that, you know, I'll be able to test all in one go. That'll be the next few days. you'll be able to see those testing videos. And then for these drip feed vehicles that we're going to be getting over the course of the next few weeks, you'll be able to get testing videos on those for lap time and top speed every day that they're released. So every Thursday these will all be releasing, at least these ones. We don't know about those two over there, but they'll be releasing every Thursday, and there'll be a new lap time and new top speed video for every vehicle, so you'll know how it performs. And if you want to know how all the cars that we've actually got today on day one perform, then you just need to wait a few days for the testing videos. I'll be taking them all out around the track and down the top speed straight and giving you all the information in the videos as soon as I can. So yeah, these are the vehicles that we've got to come from the drip feed for the contract DLC. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Obviously there's a lot of work to do with all the testing and just covering everything that's changed, but thank you guys for all the support that you showed during this time and your patience for the testing videos. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and of course the yoga session for the helpers on Project Homecoming who've helped me to do it. That's not really much yoga from Dynamite though, I've got to say, and Catalyst isn't exactly being as healthy as he could be. Good job, Benny. Benny's got the yoga down. Thank you guys for the help. Mule back only opens if there's two people in the front, then your character climbs into the back. Can two people get in the front of the mule? I'll see if we can get in the back. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything special. Okay. How is Dynamite in here? Dynamite's having significant issues. Maybe like it could be something as simple as that. That like it's a 5-seater or something instead of a 4-seater. Like that could be. Obviously, it's not the 5th seat isn't working properly at the minute on Project Homecoming, but it could be as simple as that. Like they needed a mule that had 5 seats for 5 different characters, and they needed to add a separate mule to be able to make that possible. So it must be that, like and it'll only be used for the mission, but otherwise it's exactly the same as a regular mule. Like the Vellum 5-seater is exactly the same as the regular Vellum. It just has 5 seats. So maybe it's that. This is the 7th baller. We've got the old baller, the new baller, the baller LE, the baller LE LWB, the baller LE armored, the baller LE LWB armored, and now the baller ST, which is just another baller LE. It doesn't have weapons either, so I don't... Yeah, so it doesn't even have anything extra added onto it that might make it worthwhile having.